In the first reading today, St. Paul tells us that we need to have the spiritual armor of God if we are going to be able to stand firm on the evil day. And prior to that evil day, obviously, we have to be able to learn how to use all of that armor. Remember when David was about to go into battle, everybody wimped out because they wouldn't face Goliath, and David said, "I'll go." And so Saul took all of his armor and put it on David, and David hadn't ever used it before, and he couldn't walk, he couldn't move, he wasn't used to it. Now the same thing would happen to us. If we're not accustomed to it, we're not going to have a clue what to do. And so we have to be able to learn how to use all that God has given to us. And that, again, is where, on one hand, where we live is a horrible place, and where we live is such a blessing. Because we live in the nation's largest center of the occult, we have to deal with this stuff. And we'd like to just be able to go through our lives acting like there's nothing wrong. But let's face the facts. We're getting attacked all the time. And we need to learn how to deal with that. We need to learn, first of all, to recognize it. Because these people are part of the occult. That word means hidden. And while, yes, the occult is coming out into the open, and it's not very occult these days, the people who do this under cover of darkness or wherever it is, they're still hidden away. They don't have to be coming right up to you and trying to talk to you. They don't have to interact. They can do what they're going to do in wherever they're going to do it. So you need to be able to recognize the signs of what it is that they're doing. And you need to be able to learn how to counter that. But we also need to learn how to keep the guard up. This is so critically important. And so all of us, when we look at our areas of weakness within our own lives, we know that there are certain areas where the weakness is the greatest. And that's the area that Satan is going to come after. And he's going to come after it from every angle. And so you can look at it and realize, okay, this particular sin, I know that I need to be careful when this is happening. Okay, you learn to keep the guard up over there. But this particular sin over here, well, that happens more when this is going on, so I need to learn to keep the guard up there. But then there's that particular area of weakness that all of us have, whatever it happens to be in each one of us. That's the one that Satan's going to go after the most. And you have to learn to keep the guard up all the way around you, every day, 24 hours a day. Because you know fully well if the circumstances were right, you will fall flat on your face. And how does the devil do that? Oh, you're sad. This will make you feel better. Oh, you're happy. Well, this is a great way of rejoicing. Oh, you're angry. Here's a way to get your anger out. Oh, you're feeling depressed. Well, here's something that might make you feel... Anything he uses as the excuse, and we fall for it. So you know what it is in your life that he does that with. Learn from that. Okay, how do I keep this up 360 degrees? How do I keep it up 365 days? How do I keep it up 24 hours a day? And then use that. Rather than getting upset that that's there, recognize what God is doing. He is giving you a glorious opportunity to learn how to use the tools that he's given you every single day. Because then when the devil tries to attack, not necessarily in that area, but in whatever area, you've already got the guard up. You've already learned how to do that. Now you can keep it up when he's coming at you from a different angle, when he's trying to use a different sin, whatever it may be. You've learned because you had to fight to be able to learn how to keep the guard up all the time. That's what all of us have to be able to do. That's why it is actually a blessing to be living in some place like where we do. Because of the evil that is here, we're having to deal with it all the time. You have to be strong in order to do that. Yeah, if you think of swimming, you might say, well, wouldn't it be a lot easier to be just in kind of a swimming hole? Everything is calm, everything is peaceful. Sure, yeah, you can just float there and you don't have anything to worry about. But if you're having to deal with the current, you have to build up the strength. You have to build up the muscle. You have to learn how to breathe in dealing with all of that. Well, then if something happens, you're strong enough. You know how to deal with it. Where if you're just sitting there in the swimming hole, you don't know how to deal with anything other than to float. And you know what things that float downhill, downstream are? Dead. If we don't have the strength to be able to swim upstream, we're going to wind up just being carried by the current downstream. And that's going to be a disaster. So living here, yeah, it's not so easy. But you're building up the strength. You're learning how evil works. You're able to pick it out. You're able to see it because you have to deal with it all the time. And so we haven't gotten quite to the evil day just yet. But we're living in evil days. And so that's what God is going to use this situation for, to be able to strengthen us, to be able to help us to learn how to use the armor of God to protect ourselves, to protect our families, to be able to help others to recognize how the devil works. Because there are a lot of people who haven't figured it out yet. They don't even know that they're under attack. It's so severe, and they don't even have a clue. So they're not even fighting back because they don't know that they need to or that they can. So that's where we can help them. So God has given us everything we need. We have to be able to receive it, to accept it, to be able to use it, put it into practice so that when the day of evil comes, it's not going to be a problem because we already know how to use all the armor. We already know how to keep the guard up. We already know how to defend ourselves. We already know how to fight against the evil one. That's the great blessing of living here, being alive right now, so that when that day comes, we're set, we'll be okay, but only if we're working with what God has given to us now to be able to build all that up so that we will be able to stand fast on the day of evil.